The Denver Broncos have been linked to a former Pro Bowl kicker with ties to Sean Payton and Mike Westhoff. So, according to reports from NBC Sports' Peter King, the Denver Broncos could be interested in trading for New Orleans Saints kicker Wil Lutz. Lutz is currently in a position battle with undrafted free agent Blake Grupe, and apparently Grupe is giving Lutz a pretty heavy run for his money in camp. So we could see a scenario where the New Orleans Saints could be looking to offload Wil Lutz's contract, and I could very easily see Sean Payton being interested. He, of course, was Wil Lutz's head coach for the first several years of his career. Mike Westhoff was the Saints special teams coordinator when Wil Lutz was drafted. So that's something very interesting to monitor there. I would definitely not be surprised at all if Wil Lutz ends up losing this kicking battle with Blake Grupe, that the Denver Broncos could be interested in trading like a 5th or a 6th round pick for him, and apparently Peter King feels the same way. Now, another option is if the New Orleans Saints were to keep Lutz and maybe move on from the other kicker, Blake Grupe, maybe Sean Payton would be interested in pouncing and bringing in Grupe for a look. There's another option as well for a veteran kicker that recently became available on the free agent market, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have recently released former Colts kicker Rodrigo Blankenship. But if I had pick of the litter and I had the choice between Wil Lutz, Blake Grupe, or some of the veteran free agents on the market in Rodrigo Blankenship, Mason Crosby, and Robbie Gould, then I would definitely pick Wil Lutz. He did have a down year in 2022 after missing all of the 2021 season with injury. He went just 23 for 31 on field goal attempts. That's a 74.2% field goal percentage. But in 2019, he had a really strong campaign and was named a Pro Bowl kicker after going 32 for 36 on field goals. He also went in 2018 28 for 30 on field goals. So he's got a strong acumen on his career, but the last few years in New Orleans for Wil Lutz have been kind of rough. The hope is that maybe if he were reunited with his former special teams coordinator and head coach here in Denver, then maybe he would be able to reharness some of that magic from his earlier years in New Orleans. Wil Lutz is only 29 years old. So if Brett Maher does not end up cutting it for the Denver Broncos, then I would absolutely keep an eye on Wil Lutz and or Blake Grupe for the Denver Broncos. As far as Grupe is concerned, he's a former undrafted free agent by the New Orleans Saints out of Notre Dame. He has been pretty solid in the preseason. He's gone 3 for 3 on his kicks, including a game-winning field goal in the Saints' first preseason game against the Kansas City Chiefs. So overall, man, Blake Grupe, I've heard also in Saints training camp, has really been pushing Wil Lutz and has really given him a run for his money. So the Saints could be in a scenario where they maybe want to trade away Wil Lutz's contract, and if that happens, I could very easily see the Denver Broncos wanting to pounce. If the Broncos were to trade for Wil Lutz, they would take $1.7 million on in his 2023 salary. He's only under contract for this season. Following this year, he's set to be an unrestricted free agent. So, because of this, if the Broncos gave up a 5th round pick for Wil Lutz, then they probably would have to sign him to a contract extension. I don't know how I feel about that. I'd be much more confident giving up like a 6th round pick. As far as some of the veteran options, though, aside from Wil Lutz, I'm not a big fan of Mason Crosby. I feel like his leg from beyond 50 yards is kind of dead. The Packers barely had him try 50-plus yard field goals last year, and I believe he only made 1 of the 4 that he did try. Robbie Gould is a little bit more intriguing, but from what I hear with him, he wants to go play for the Chicago Bears, and if he doesn't get to go to Chicago, then he's probably going to hang it up. So right now, man, it feels like the best option for the Denver Broncos is Wil Lutz, should he become available. That is unless, of course, they're happy with staying with Brett Maher. I'm not necessarily content with that, even though he did go 2 for 2 on field goals and 2 for 2 on extra points in our second preseason game against the 49ers, a game that actually had some proper turf for him to kick on as compared to what he had to deal with in Arizona in week 1. So that's something to keep an eye on as well, but the Denver Broncos are interested in bringing in a veteran kicker potentially, and keep an eye on Wil Lutz should he become available. All right, Broncos country, how do you guys feel about the Denver Broncos potentially being interested in Wil Lutz? Drop those comments down below, guys. guys, I would love to hear your thoughts as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways to show your support, helps tell the old algorithm to push us out, and helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.